Hey there, how you doing? This is Coach Carvel Bailey, and I want to welcome you. I want to welcome you to season six of Life and Basketball. So on this show, here's where we see how the game of basketball, as well as the game of life, how they are synergistic and how they have so much in common. And so we talk to former athletes, former coaches, former officials, and former people that have been influential in this game that we call basketball. And so, unlike our lunch and learns, this is the afternoon segment of Life and Basketball, the podcast show. So make sure that you share this with somebody because we're going to talk about hide and seek today. I have a very special guest, all right? And you don't want to miss them. And so we'll be right back after this little interlude. All right? We'll be right back.
We may make stops. All these stops is different teams, right? Every time that train stops, it's just a different team. But what happened to the train when the doors closed? It's on to the next one. It's on to the next one. So that train don't care who in this way, and unfortunately sometimes people die, but that train don't care who in this way, whoever in this way gonna get what?
Ran over.
Ran over. That's how I want y'all to think. Same way about your, no matter what that teacher give you, this assignment about to get ran over. Because I'm an Olympian. And I put in the work. Does that make sense? Like, and if y'all don't understand that, it's another team that do. Because we talk about the hard way, it's going to be them teams in the fourth quarter where it get hard. And it's a nose-to-nose battle. It's going to be who's going to be the toughest to come out. And it ain't the toughest like this with them push-ups or whatever, right? It's who's going to be tough here. Who's going to say, we going to win because we put in the work. The train can't go if everybody ain't on the same track, right? The train can't go if it ain't on the track. So if one of y'all is not on the same page as everybody else, the train don't move. Or the train, what happens when the train goes off the track? It's called what? Derail. Train that derail, can it ever get to its destination?
No, sir.
So if y'all walk around here and y'all late to class, the train derails. If y'all getting bad grades, the train derails. Because he just gave me 100, but it took y'all to help him to that last 50, right?
Yes, sir.
Period. So if one person ain't doing what's supposed to be done, that's where the accountability comes in. Don't be late to class. Don't get written up. Pull your pants up. Like, it ain't hard. And when y'all learn how to do what you're supposed to do, you can do whatever you want to do.
All right. So again, I want to welcome you to another episode of Life and Basketball. And today, my special guest, episode 1, season 6. My special guest today is a point guard through and through, a point guard in his own right. The title of this episode, episode 1, I always like to title my episodes based on the audience and the person that I'm interviewing. This particular person, the title is Hide and Seek. And we'll explain a little bit more about what hide and seek means. But there are a lot of athletes out there playing hide and seek, and they really don't even know it. And once they know it, they can use the rules of the game hide and seek to their advantage, just like this person did. So say no more. I want to introduce to most and present to some others. All right. Chicago product through and through. Point guard. I'm very high on point guards, especially pure point guards. And so I want to bring to the stage today somebody who I have a lot of respect for, not only as an athlete, but also as a person. So please help me introduce our special guest today, Mr. Brandon Clemons. B, what's up, man? How you feeling? Let me take you off mute. All right, there you go. B, what's up, man? How you feeling?
What's going on, man?
How you doing?
Chilling, man. Blessed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So tell the people a little bit, man. Um, the game is changing. You've actually been out of high school for a while now.
hmm
Tell the people a little bit about who is Brandon Clemons, the person.
The person,
Yes, sir.
okay. I'm a Chicago kid, born and raised. Um, was raised by an independent mother until my stepfather came about in the picture.
Okay.
Um, Once he came into the picture, this was the man who raised me to become the person I am today.
Mm,
Um, he pretty much introduced me into the game of basketball, which I fell in love with. Uh, the thing with me when he introduced me into it, it was more so something that I love to do. You know, it was something that I fell in love to do just off just learning this certain specific, certain type of skill. Um, he always, as he was training me and putting, the skills into me, he always just let me know like, don't get caught up into the big names and the politics and stuff like that. You feel me? He said we gonna get there.
mm,
Once as long as we do what we supposed to do, and you put in that work and you listen to me, we gonna get there. It's gonna be easy to catch the people that's above you. So
mm. Okay.
uh yeah, I just pretty much just soaked up like a sponge. Everything he taught me, I just was a listener. Um, he was a good person to me on and off the court. Not just on the court, he was pretty much on me off the court as well. So where
Okay.
as far as academic school wise, I pretty much didn't have no problems with that. Um, Once I got introduced into the game of basketball and I perfected everything that we trained for, it was time to get in tune. See, throw myself out there into the light. That's what he would say. It's time to
Mm,
go and get to it. So
mm.
um,
Okay.
I think I started probably around 9. I was 9.
Okay.
We ended up meeting Coach Sean Monroe. He was
Yeah.
the coach at Marquette Park for Small Fry.
Yeah.
So, like when my pops, he played the game of basketball, so he was well connected throughout the city as far as that. So, he just told me like when it came to those opportunities, I just needed to do my part, because he said
Exactly.
he was gonna do his for sure. I just need to make sure I do my part. So that was
Yeah.
something I definitely paid attention to and prepared myself for as well. So being that the person I was that he trained me to be a true guard and a defensive player, I was a dog. Like I was a
Mm,
dog. I didn't fear nobody. Like when I played against other, I didn't care who you was. You feel me? Like if you did have a name, you was the one I wanted to guard. I was trying to you feel me, prove my point to where like I am who I am. I want you to know
okay.
who I am.
Yeah.
So we got into the small fry platform. Uh, we had a rookie team for real, called for real.
Okay.
We were so my coach. I mean my pops ended up being my coach actually for that team. He actually ended up being my coach. They allowed him to be my coach. The way I got onto the team though was crazy because it was my boy Malcolm Hillbay.
Okay.
Malcolm Hillbay. He was on varsity. He was on
Okay.
varsity. And I think I came into like the practice of the tryouts or whatever. It was pretty much like my audition. Being that I was trying to make the team or get on the team. So being that I am who I am, they don't know me. I'm a newcomer, so everybody. Once I get there, everybody, of course, around this time, everybody, people got their names. People scared of these type of people. So then
Mm-hmm.
the other players informing me who people is, but I'm looking at them like, okay, so I made the team because, long story short, I'm sticking Malcolm, and I end up taking the ball from him.
Okay.
Like literally, like taking the ball from him. And it was after that the Coach Monroe told my pops like, "Oh, all right, we need him."
Yeah, I need him. Yeah.
Yeah, so pretty much we end up rookie team, small fry, took over took over the platform on the rookie team. Um it was me and my right hand man that I'm still cool with, Kenny Doss.
Okay.
He was my center and I was the point guard. He pretty much Me and him pretty much had the same game. It's just on that specific team, I was the point guard. I played the defense and he was the scorer. So once I
Mm.
got the ball, my job was to get him the ball, and he took care of the
And
rest.
and this was 9 years old, B.
Nine,
Okay.
nine. We
Okay.
locked in. So uh, we made it all the way to the championship. This how dangerous we was. We made it to the championship. We played in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It was the We made it all the way up into the championship game. Being that we were so dominant and we affected the rookie platform as far as small fry, it's like the parents never seen, how my coach how my pops had us playing. So they felt like my Kenny Doss, he was older than what he was. So that championship, right before the championship game, you had all type of complaints. They going to the board, you feel me, to where like he didn't. They told him he couldn't play the championship game.
Mm. But now
Like,
we're in the world. But now we're in the world of reclassing.
you feel me? You see what I'm saying? But he was so dominant. They felt like he was older than what he was. You feel me? So
Yeah. Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
so that championship game we ended up losing, but yeah, that was like a something that definitely like we knew, like, yeah, we this just our starting part, start the peak of it, that it's gonna get better. We knew it
Mm-hmm.
was gonna get better. We knew
Mm-hmm.
we was underrated, so we knew what was gonna come with it. We knew what
Yeah.
it was. And then like I said, my pops, he was a person that talked to me on and off the court, so
Yeah.
he made sure we never got caught up into that type of energy.
Yeah.
He always
Okay.
just told us to just play the game.
Play the game. And so, I think that was great information from your pops. And as a coach, I've said it. I know a lot of coaches they say it. As a player, I understood it, even though it's difficult. When people
Hmm.
talk about like just focus on the game. That's
Hmm.
easier said than done. That's almost like people saying trust the process, right? It sounds good. It's good for a t-shirt,
Yeah.
but when you're in it, it's a little difficult. 9 years old, feeling like you're being cheated, and I want to slow down on this and I always ask these questions because I want people to get to know my guests
Hmm.
as a person before we get to the athletics. So
Okay.
going back, you're raised single mom, but your mother was so influential in your life to where the person in her life
Hmm.
made sure that you were taken care of almost like you was his.
Hmm.
And so I think for my parents, right? Because we have, parents, athletes, and coaches that's on this platform. I think for my parents, the first nugget that you can take is make sure. Again, it's easier said than done because we oftentimes trust people, but we have to make sure that we're putting our kids around the right people, even if they're people in our inner circle, right? We have to make sure that they're being fed the right things.
Hmm.
And what you said, though, B, right? So Pops introduced you to the game. And I always talk about there's three different levels, right? One, you have to be introduced to it,
Hmm.
then you can be taught it,
Hmm.
then you can be coached on it,
Hmm.
right? A lot of athletes miss one of those three.
Hmm.
They are never introduced to something and they're just coached on it or trying to be taught how to do it, but they have no idea of what's going on.
Hmm.
Or they're introduced to something and then they're just going right ahead and being coached on it. Well, you said that your pops introduced you to the game. You fell in love with it.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the reason why you fell in love with it was because of the way he taught you how to do it the right way.
Mm-hmm.
And you know talked about. He said like do what you're supposed to do. He was he played basketball in Chicago. Connected.
Mm-hmm.
He knows people, so he could get you. And what I'm reading into this is he could get you in the door.
And done.
It's your job to stay there
Mm-hmm.
at doing what you're supposed to do.
Supposed to do.
Because
Yeah.
people respect him enough to where he can share this. And
Mm-hmm.
I want to pause for a minute because I don't want this to pass anybody up, B. I was talking to my clients yesterday and I was explaining this to them. Coaches would prefer, regardless, right? You talk to transfer portal, all this new stuff to the new eyes, but it's been going on for a long time. As you talk, you were introduced to the business side
Mm-hmm.
because of the bad side, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, well, he's too old. But now we have the whole reclassifying thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, college coaches would rather have a kid place with them than to go out and recruit a kid. And so what your dad said, you do what you're supposed to do, I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's one thing to call a coach and say, hey, coach, man, I know this kid.
Mm-hmm.
Would be a great fit for you. Now, if Brandon not going to class, that coach can call me on the phone and say, "Hey, Coach Bailey, man, your boy over here messing up. I'm about to send him to the crib." Now I can get on the phone and say, "Hey, Brandon, he about to send you home, man. You need to get it together." Well, now the coach has an ally to help with that player.
Mm-hmm.
But if I just came out to a tournament and I recruited you, I don't really have nobody but your parents who gonna take my side. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And your parents gonna take your side.
Yeah.
So recruitment looks nice, but the reality, most coaches would rather have somebody placed with them from somebody that they know, like, and trust,
Mm-hmm.
because then they can do. So what I read into that, what your pops was saying, you gonna have to earn everything you get, but that's
Most
why you
definitely.
got to do what you need to do.
Most definitely.
And my connection with your play, we can make it happen.
Most definitely.
But the big thing that I read from this, man, and I always take notes, right? I always recommend that people take notes all the time because life moves so fast. We never know what we're hearing. We miss Julie. But you talk about, and it makes sense now. But you talk about how you were a sponge, and we talked a couple weeks ago on my Lunch and Learn, and like when you and I would be talking, you would be just like that. You would be full attentiveness if you came in my office sometime during class, just to, and we'd just talk. You know what I'm saying? Because your work was done, so I'm going to deem Bailey. We just sit and talk, or if we're on the court and we talking. But you were always coachable. All right. Second key point: my parents. Your athlete has to be coachable.
Very.
They have to be coachable, and they have to be a sponge. They have to take in as much as they can and apply it to their game in the best ways in which they know how and what they can. But here's what you said, B. You said Doss, and I know Doss.
Mm-hmm.
You said I was the point guard, he was the scorer. You understood your role at 9 years old, right? So I want you to talk to me for a minute. Talk to us, right? Because this is we're sharing your story, but your story can help so many people. Be talk about the importance as a point guard, knowing your role.
It's very important. My pops installed and let me know that being a point guard, you are basically the second coach on the court. You're pretty much the second coach on the court. Um, the point guard has the best relationship with the coach. So pretty much if you are a guard that's believed in by the coach, pretty much everybody else will follow you. You know, they will listen to you because they see the relationship you have with the actual coach.
Yeah.
Just being able to Not saying point guard job is easy. It's definitely not easy because at the point guard you have to learn every position when it comes to the game. You have to learn every position. You have to know what everybody is doing, where they need to be. One thing I had to learn, being that I was never like good verbally,
Yeah, yeah.
talking and speaking as a guard because you have to talk. You have to talk. That's big. That's another big thing. You have to talk.
Mm.
I had to learn how to talk with my teammates. Like
Mm.
when it comes to certain plays or if they not doing something right or if they confused about doing certain things, I would get being that I was so passionate about the game. I used to come off too aggressive, yeah,
Okay.
maybe yelling or being just off me just being passionate, not trying to down them or anything, but I'm just so passionate. Like,
Yeah,
come on,
yeah,
man, you feel me?
yeah,
Plus, it was like how my pops was on me, so I feel like it was kind of a normal
yeah.
till I had that conversation with my pops and he was telling me like certain players you can talk to like that because taking constructive criticism they might take it better than others.
Mm-hmm.
Some you might have to pull to the side. Look, bro, let me holler at you, man. Come on, let me holler at you. Look, bro, this what you did. This what you feel me. This what you need to do. Back, like, slap him on the on the ass.
Mm-hmm.
You good, bro. You
Mm-hmm.
feel me? But it's just as a point guard, that's something you have to perfect. Like if that's something that you want to do as like be a point guard, you have to perfect that. You can't be half ass with it because it's gonna show. It's gonna definitely show.
So
Uh,
point three, effective communication.
yeah, for sure.
Be it and I don't want y'all to miss this. And so Brandon said that he had difficulty verbalizing, being vocal, but he
Hmm.
understood as a point guard because he said oftentimes they have the best relationship with the coach, and it's a person who the coach believes in to
Hmm.
be the leader on the court.
Hmm.
And so Brandon had to talk, but because of his personality type
Hmm.
or the way that he prefers to communicate or do things, it was a little challenging. But he said he loved the game,
Hmm.
so certain things had to be done
Had to.
if you want to be successful in it. All right, and let's not let that pass us by, basketball or not. There's certain things that if you really love it, certain things if you really have an end goal, really have a why, it's going to cause you to learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Because I'm pretty sure, B, when you first started communicating, it was a little uncomfortable.
It was. It was like I had to over exaggerate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I had to definitely get used to it. Definitely.
And 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 as a good point guard, what Brandon is saying, you can talk, you just have to know how to communicate with each person. I talk about
Right.
that all the time
Mm-hmm.
with if it's the athletic strength assessment survey that I give out, right? The same one that Dr. Eric Thomas, right? The flight assessment. The same understanding personality traits, people's preferences. But
Mm-hmm.
good point guards can talk to you and they can make verbal or verbal and nonverbal communication.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you throw a lob, you may not be able to communicate, right? You got to know. Brandon said he had to know everybody's position,
Mm-hmm.
and he also has to know how to make everybody successful.
Definitely.
And so you can't do that if you're not learning. So Brandon, talk to us about you learning. Like you said, you was a sponge. What helped you grow as a basketball player? Like and like just name off some things that helped you. It could be music, songs, people. Yeah,
Okay.
it does, right? Because not always basketball that helps us with basketball. Does that make
Mm-hmm.
sense?
Yeah. So with me, it was definitely basketball. Like I said,
Yep.
my pops, he's a basketball guru. Like
Okay. Absolutely, Steve.
he I don't know. It's something you could tell like it's something he loved. So it was a craft that he perfected. It was something that he
Mm.
perfected. He watched the games. You feel me? So basically, how I grew, I used to sit down and just watch. We just used to sit down and watch the games.
Watch
Like
the
sit
game.
down and watch and analyze the games. And it'd be certain plays he'll probably put the game on mute or pause and be like, all right, what he do wrong? What he could have did better, you know? So it was different, you know, scenarios that we did. I had two older brothers who also played the game before me.
Yeah.
So as before he got to me, he was working with them.
Yeah.
It's just they didn't, you know. So when we hooped and we went out, because we used to go out and hoop every night. It was three of us. We used to, and he, like I said, my pops, he can hoop.
Yeah.
My pops, if y'all know, he can hoop as well. So we used to go out every night and hoop, just hoop. And being that I was the youngest, and my brothers, they are active in the game. Of course, I'm not on the level they are, but I know when I did go out there, I was getting better. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
just guarding them and just seeing what they doing, and then my pops, he coaching them as well, and then coaching me. So it was hands on. Like I said, we used to sit down and watch the games. He used to specifically have me watch certain point guards, um, Chris Paul, Derrick Rose, uh, Stephon Marbury. The main person though that I'm gonna tell y'all, the main person that I was really tuned in with, that I watched, Sebastian Telfair. Around
Mm.
that time, this was when he went to Lincoln.
He was in high school. Yeah.
He got a documentary out. It's called Through the Fire. I think
Yeah.
it's called Through the Fire. I used to watch that documentary every day, literally,
That's
because
crazy. That's how we were with "Come Fly with Me."
yeah,
But throughout the years,
yes,
yeah, yep,
yes,
yep,
and just watching that, him as a point guard, coming from where he coming from and his ultimate goal, and how his brothers was with him, how they, you know, made sure they was on him because they knew he was the one that was gonna make it.
yep,
You know, it just put me, you know, and I felt like I was on the same, you know, uh I feel like that would have been my story. That would be my
yep.
story. So it was more like, okay, bet. But Sebastian Telfair, if y'all ever seen that, he was a monster. He was at the point guard. He was a monster. Even though we play different games, but for sure, as a point guard, he ran his team. He made sure, as far as making that play, he got it done. Pretty much the people that was coaching him, they was on him to make sure that he was doing his job as a point guard. You know, running his team, taking advantage of every opportunity when it was time to take advantage of those opportunities. And what me and my pop stole from them was he had a bigger brother that was his coach. And right before every game, they lock heads, and his brother be talking to him before the game, like the lights is on. It's time to perform. And me and my pops used to do that before every game.
Mm. So is
Literally.
that where the comment? Because you said earlier, and I wrote it down when you were saying that pops was telling you like when you get into the light. Like, is that where that came from?
Yeah, it's time to shine. Like it ain't
Yeah,
no excuses. We put that work in, so don't you know what you know? It's time. Like it's no
yeah,
excuse. The
yeah,
fear and all that.
yeah,
Come on, it's time.
yeah.
You gotta
What's your
take
pop's
advantage.
name? Steve Hall of Fame official. Steve
His name is
Alexander
Robert
Washington.
McClay. A lot of people know him by he do comedy now, comedian stick. Um, uh, yeah, a lot of people his street name stick. But a lot of people know him by Robert. Yeah, Terrence. He got a couple names, but he known for Robert though. He's a comedian now. He goes by comedian stick. So
What's his last name?
Robert McClay.
Robert McClay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Robert McClay. Robert McClay. So my boy G out of California said, and he's from Illinois,
Okay.
Peoria area, but and he makes a good point, right? He says, show me a person that can't deal with criticism, and I'll show you a person that can't get better at life. And so how apropos, right? Because again, life and basketball. We talk life and basketball synergistic. In basketball, is going to be some challenges, and life is going to be some challenges.
For sure.
We're here now, right? Nobody really knows none of the behind the scenes that's been coming up over the past week, right? You know, I got an 8th grade daughter that's graduating. I got a kindergarten. I got a son that's done with kindergarten. I got business stuff going up. You got things going up. Technology sometimes do what it do, and life happens, right? But
Yes, sir.
to Greg's point, sometimes we have to be patient. And we had some scheduling conflicts, and I had to go coach on you, right? I had to go coach. And I said, listen, you gonna whine about it? Can you hear me, B?
Yeah, I.
Yep. And the comment that I made to you, I said, can we whine about it? Or do you want to win? Right? Do you want to whine about it, or do you want to win? Like at the end of the day, point guards have to keep it moving. And they have to stay poised because everything and everybody around them, all hell is breaking loose around them. Which is why most point guards can be great coaches. Most point guards really understand the game from a cerebral level. And most point guards are successful off the court because they just have inherent leadership qualities. And so, right, you and your dad locking heads, get into the light right as time. Talk to me about that light. So the title of this episode, I personally gonna name it KYP. Know your personnel, right? We talk about that often, but hide and seek, because you said basically you were not hiding, but your name wasn't known like everybody else's. So hide and seek, you're chasing somebody to try to catch them and tag them, you it, right? Now, when they get it, they have to chase somebody else, and other people have the opportunity to get away from it. So I titled this episode Hide and Seek, Knowing Your Story, because you were kind of always chasing, but some of your biggest accomplishments came throughout your chase. Because throughout your chase, you kind of understood once you caught them, like you ain't as sweet as me.
Yeah.
So talk about that, B.
For sure. So I felt like with me, like I said, I fell in love with the game. So when I did finally get onto the court with the other players and stuff like that, they didn't like my objective was to win.
Exactly.
My pops told me the more you win, the more relevant you gonna be.
Ooh, wait a
You
minute.
know?
Say that again. Say that again.
The more you win, the more relevant you gonna be. So like when I played the game, I was never worried about the competition. I was never worried about the competition. I knew if I did what I was supposed to do, being that I love the game and I just competed and I won, being that I'm the point guard on the team, I know everybody when they look at a winning team, the point guard is pretty much the first person they gonna look at. Who was the guard on that team? Who orchestrated that? Yeah, of course, me. So, like I said, when I played the game, I was never worried about the competition. Like it amazed my pops. Like he used to brag on it. Like being that I was young, I never, it was big. It was a big, it was something that he bragged on. But like I said, being that I fell in love with the game, I just played the game. I just played the game. I just wanted to play it. I was so in love. I just wanted to play it. So yeah, like I said, I just hooped. So like the more we won, the more, it just got better and better. It just got better and better. To where, like I said, he just kept telling me like it's gonna get better. Like it's gonna get better. And then he was telling me like once you finally make a name, don't get comfortable. Don't get comfortable. Don't get comfortable because it's more to it. It's way more to it. You know, we just getting started really. We just
And
trying to show people, you know, you really, you feel me?
you're here.
Yeah, you here.
And you know, I'm in this dance too, and I can kind of shake a leg a little bit. You
Mm-hmm.
know, um, I just ain't coming out and walking in the party, getting in the middle of the dance floor. You know what I'm saying? Starting to
Yeah.
and but figuratively, that's what people do. They get in the
Mm-hmm.
game and they want to do all of that.
Mm-hmm.
They getting in the middle of the day, walking in the party, get in the middle of the dance floor,
Mm-hmm.
and just going crazy, right?
Most definitely.
But that may be cool for some,
So.
but the girls really sitting back observing, like that can come off as a goofy, right? I mean, and I don't want to be disrespectful, but I'm
Nah,
gonna
you
just be
good.
honest.
Yeah.
That can come off as a goofy. I had a dude when I first got to college. He would cross over. He had a mean crossover.
Mm-hmm.
He would cross over just coming up court. We'd be like, dude, you goofy. Like, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Yeah.
But so I was listening to Kobe Bryant the other day. God rest his soul. And Kobe Bryant said this. He said he looks at Jason Tatum. This is back when he did when he first started with the detail. He was talking
Okay.
about Jason Tatum's game,
Yeah.
and they were showing it the other day. And he was saying like it's cool that you can post up, shoot the fadeaways, do all that. He said, but why do it if I don't have to show it?
Mm-hmm.
It's cool to have it in my toolbox for when I
Mm-hmm.
need it,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not gonna just come in and just do it
Do
just to
it.
do it because that's wasted
Mm-hmm.
energy. I want to
Mm-hmm.
conserve my energy for when it's later,
Mm-hmm.
when I have to do it. And so athletes have to be more efficient and
Mm-hmm.
effective than doing all of that, right? I'd say the worst thing they did to a basketball is put air in it. Everybody just want to dribble the ball, right? Why? And I know that you said that you were focused on winning, but I've never, right? We worked out, we did a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and I know you got it, but you never really use it. Why?
My pops. My pops told me keep it simple.
Mm.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple. That's something he stressed.
What's the benefit of keeping it simple?
I just feel like when you keep it simple, like you said, you're more efficient with getting whatever you trying to do done.
Mm.
Rather when you just put it between the legs and all that, I feel like it's unnecessary.
Mm.
You know. Plus, I'm a defensive player as well, so I'm thinking both sides.
Yeah,
You know, I'm
exactly,
think
exactly.
as a guard,
Now
I'm
we're
think
talking cheat code. Hold on.
yeah,
Now,
yeah.
now we're talking cheat code. Listen to what Brandon is saying. Because he understood defensively what that meant, he knew what to do and what not to do offensively,
Hmm.
right?
For
And
sure.
when you know what to do offensively, then you know what the defense will give you and not. So one of the main things to my audience, one of the main reasons why athletes should really develop their basketball IQ is so that they can use what they know to their unfair advantage.
Most
So
definitely.
go ahead, B. So being a defensive player, you was kind of waiting on that.
Yeah, like I knew I wasn't a scorer, but I knew I had a quick first step. I was fast. I had a lot of
Mm,
energy, you know. So and then just the guards that I did watch, the point guards that I did watch, they was never, you know, they kept it simple. Put them on the back, you know, change hands, be able to dribble with both hands, stay lower than your the defender.
mm.
Um, yeah, just pretty much just and don't turn the ball over. Like that's one thing my pops always stress as well. Like don't turn that ball over, bro. Like do not turn that ball over. So
it's gold. It's
yeah,
literally gold.
and I knew that would have separated me from a lot of point guards because I know with basketball you may have those times where you turn the ball over, yeah, but unforced turnovers, that was the word, that was the key word. Unforced turnovers,
Mm,
ceased, gotta cease, gotta be
yeah.
ceased, because it's gonna keep you on the court. That's another thing that's gonna keep you on the court. Your team
So
believe in you. Like I know he ain't for the top. We good. I know he gonna get us what we need to. It wasn't nothing that the team worried about when it came to
and they
me.
want to play with you,
Yeah,
but
for sure.
so
Everybody did.
no unforced turnovers. It keeps you on the court. I hope y'all listening, right? I really hope you're listening. I really hope that you will go back and watch this with your athlete because as a coach, Brandon is saying a lot of things I've said, but sometimes y'all have to hear it from a player that's not too far removed. Because sometimes, for whatever reason, maybe y'all just think, "Oh, coach don't know what he's talking about." And one of the gems that Brandon just dropped, he said, "Was you have to be lower than the defender. He who is lowest." And I learned this at Western Michigan camp back in the day. Um, my boy Steve Hawkins, Cornell man, all those guys, Jason Larson back then, man, and JD and Clayton and all those. But they said the person that's lowest on the first point of contact wins.
Hmm.
So if I'm guarding you and you're attempting to drive to the bucket,
Hmm.
whoever is lower, if I'm standing up on defense, you gonna knock me off balance. But if I'm lower than you on defense and you
Hmm.
standing up dribbling, I'm gonna knock you off balance. So
Hmm.
he who is lowest at first point of contact wins that battle.
Hmm.
And so you understood all of those things going in, which made you a different type of person and a
Yeah.
different type of guard because you were concerned about winning and how we gonna win. I got to get the people the ball where it need to be. I got to play defense, and I can't have no unforced turnover.
That exactly that is definitely what it was. Just that simple.
Now let's get into probably people that know Brandon and know a little bit of his story. So you finished at Orr. You started at Simeon.
Yeah.
Um, Coach Rob just retired, right?
Yeah.
Great career, man. Rob did some great things for me, even with this show.
Definitely.
Been knowing him for a long time. Talk to us about that Simeon machine and why, like, what was the turning point to where it just wasn't a good fit for you?
Okay, I went there because my pops, of course, uh, he went there as well. Uh, and then he knew the system they ran. He loved
Mm,
the system that they ran. Um, he knew sending me there, I was going to become one of the great point guards, just learning,
yeah,
from those type of coaches.
yeah,
Pretty much, it was a school that produced pretty much high level players as well, not just point guards, but one of the best point guards that came from them was Derrick Rose. So I was pretty much chasing Derrick Rose's
yeah,
legacy. Like
yeah.
I went to Beasley, I broke his record, 39-0. Went to Simeon. The plan was to go to Simeon and do what I was supposed to do, and further. But it's like Simeon, they have a way they go about, playing the game of basketball. It's not just going out there and playing. No,
And
it
hooping.
it was
They ain't
more than
hooping.
that. It was
Yeah,
more than that. Like they actually teach
play
you the
basketball.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
yeah,
teaching you the
yeah.
game and how I suppose what's gonna get you to that next
Yeah,
level.
next level. Yeah, yeah,
Yes, and Coach Rob them was so hands on. Like you gotta put in that work. Like it's no favoritism. It was never no favoritism in the gym. As far as competition, he was on you. He was on you. Like so off the rip when I came, um, I remember they came to my Hells. I had a Hells game, and they brought the whole Simeon varsity team to come watch us play
Mm.
at Hills. It was crazy. I can't. It was a memory that I remember because they came and at the whole team, Coach and Neil came in blue jumpsuits and they
Mm.
sat there and watched us play. But I went there off the rip, played far south. I
A
was a
real
point guard.
program.
Yeah, it was a great. Simeon is one of the I don't regret it at all because it poised me to be the guard that I am. You feel
Yep.
me? As far as
Yep.
like being poised with the atmosphere and being that we on the high, we rated pretty much the number one team. So
Yes.
every game was crazy. Like every
Yeah.
game was crazy. Like
Yeah. You're getting everybody's best game on every level.
every level because that was the team everybody wanted to beat. So
Yep.
every game it was crazy. Like I said, I don't regret it at all. I definitely appreciate everything I learned from them people. When I was there, I was pretty much analyzing and observing the point guard Jelani Neely.
Yep.
If I'm pretty sure a lot of people know who that is, Jelani Neely. When I like being who I am and just seeing, cause I did this was like my first time actually like being on the same team as him,
Yeah.
but he was a great point guard. Great
Hmm.
point guard. Great. I'm pretty sure that's why he's successful with his journey there, as far
Yeah.
as the game of basketball because he did what he's supposed to do as a point guard. He did. He perfected his craft. And being that I was a person that was coming onto this new team, I had to figure out somebody I can, they been here already, so they know everything that needs to be done. So every time, at any chance I get, I make sure I holler at him to at least tell me like, bro, you feel me, what I need to be doing, you feel me, what I supposed to be doing. So yeah, like I said, they perfected. They definitely helped my game, poised my game. As far as the fear, that
Yeah.
just put more step on it because just the atmospheres of the game is packed out, sold out pretty much. You feel me? So yeah, but it got to the point where I end up moving up to varsity. I think that was my junior year. We had just lost to Bogan in the championship. We just
Okay.
not in the championship. I think this was like the first round. We end up losing to Bogan. Um, so I moved up to varsity. I'm on the team, but I wasn't playing.
Hmm.
It got to the point where like I wasn't playing. Like I said, me and the coaching staff, we wasn't like I said, I compared them to y'all. Like when I got there, they wasn't hands on with me like how you guys were. You know,
Hmm.
yeah, they talked to me, but y'all really talked to me and you feel me and actually explain like, nah, bro, do this. You feel me? They just did their job as a coach.
Hmm.
So it got to the point like I felt uncomfortable. I knew my worth. I
Yeah.
knew I was I knew I can compete on that level. I knew I just knew I was ready. So it got to the point where I ended up just calling my pops. I think it was a tournament in Detroit, but I didn't play at all. Like I didn't play. So it got to the point like I was like I called my pops like this ain't it. Like I can't do this. Like we need to go on. And he was asking like, "You sure this is what you want to do?" And I'm telling him, "Yes."
Hmm.
Like for me, I feel like me just sitting behind these folks, I'm not getting no better. Like I can be. I'm pretty sure there's way other schools that would love for me to come to play for them. So yeah, once I told him and we talked that night, we got it done as soon as possible. I think probably not even like the next week I was probably gone. Well, not
Mm.
gone, but I was talking to other schools. So
Mentally,
yeah,
mentally you was
yeah, I was gone mentally, but I was
mentally
talking
you was
to
gone. Yeah.
other schools around that time.
Okay.
I was talking to I know Winnie Young was on the market. Uh, or of course I think finally once Or came about, I was sold. Being that
Okay.
Coach Lou was the coach. If y'all don't know, when Coach Lou was at Inglewood coaching the Twins, and they was doing what they was doing, me and Kenny Doss was there at their practices with them every day. So it was two twins. One was a shooter and scored. One was a point guard. I took an initiative and literally every day after practice, I'm working with the point guard, and we was doing different drills, working.
Yeah, you bundle and so you bundle both of their games into one,
Most
right?
definitely.
Um, and so I'm gonna pause there for a minute because Pops just joined. All right, Steve, if you still on, all
That's
right,
my boy, man.
here is Pops. Steve, he just joined. Rob, thank you for joining, man. Thank you for joining. You have an amazing
That
son,
is my
man.
boy, man.
Um, and so now, I'm gonna ask you some questions, right? This is it's never been controversial here. And you and I talked prior, right? And you said it's an open book. We gonna help somebody here.
Okay.
So y'all were in Detroit and you didn't really play, and you like, okay, this is not it for me. Um, and you talked about you knew that there was a program out there for you that could be a good fit for as
Mhm.
great as Simeon was and the things that they were doing,
Mhm.
and to help you up until that point, right?
Mhm.
My parents, I want you to understand this because we talked about finding the right people to put in your kid's life. Everybody serves a different purpose. Some people are the seed planters. Some people are there to water the seed. Some people are there to fertilize the seed, cultivate the seed. So everybody's job along the process is different. Does that make sense? Right. So when I met Brandon, the seed was already planted from his pops.
Mhm.
Right. The seed was then watered through Simeon. When he got the ore, we were just able to cultivate
Mhm.
what he already has. So if you know anything about farming, right, you got to cultivate the land and the soil so the good fruit can come up, right? You ain't gonna produce no good crops in bad soil. And so
Mhm.
obviously he had great soil from the foundation, mom and pops. Then it was watered. Now it just has to be fertilized and cultivated and taken care of. But I want to have a teachable moment. What you just saying here, and I didn't stop you because it's over with now, but I had no idea all of this was going on. The only thing that I know, again, right, at that point, I think I was still coaching at Malcolm X. So I
Mhm.
was consulting with,
Mhm.
with Coach Lou and them, but nobody knew you was coming to Or until you walked in the building,
Mhm.
right? And I don't know if you remember that day, but I think we was all sitting in TJ office
Yeah.
and you walking down the hallway. What the hell is he doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell is this dude doing here?
Yeah.
Like, and we called you in the office, and as you said last week when we was on Lunch and Learn, like from that day, we was like locked in because
Locked
we
in.
understood what was in the building.
Mhm.
We understood that academically it wasn't going to be an issue, right?
Mhm.
That was how you was able to come to my office so many times because your work done or
Mhm.
whatever. Hey, I'm going to talk to Dean Bailey, right?
Mhm.
And so we knew academically it'll be there, but we also knew that what you learned and talk about what you learned from Jelani, from Coach Rob, from Reese and all those guys that was there, right? Um, Schofield, all right, all those like all them good point guards, right? Like it was
Mhm.
a plethora of point guards that you was learning
Yeah.
from. But at Or, we understood that based on the team that was there, that was about to come back for the new year,
Mm-hmm.
how you would compliment that team. Because it was kind of like going back to you and Dawes when y'all was 9 years old.
Yep.
Jamal was the scorer,
Mm-hmm.
and you was the facilitator.
Yep.
But y'all both was
Both
defensive
played
minded.
defense.
Y'all was both defensive minded.
Crazy.
So y'all was able to. So it caught everybody by storm immediately. So a couple teachable moments. One, parents. Brandon didn't have no committed poster, right? And I ain't clowning on nobody that do the committed posters committing to high school. I did a whole class on that, right? I ain't clowning nobody because you should be committed to something. But Brandon, his mom, and his pop didn't make a whole announcement to the world. He's leaving Simeon and he's going to Orr. He kept it professional.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense, right? Him and his family kept it professional. They didn't go out talking about the coaches from Simeon, talking about the programs, none of those things. Brandon did what he said his pops told him at 9 years old. Do what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
You do what you're supposed to do, we gonna be good.
Mm-hmm.
So now talk about the difference, right? And people always listen, man, listen. People always talk about the difference in South Side and West Side hoopers. Always. You saw it on both levels, on a high level, because Simeon, y'all was getting everybody's best game.
Yeah.
Every night.
Yeah.
But at Orr, you was playing in the dungeon. Like
That's the Red West.
it was a whole different atmosphere.
That's the toughest conference in the city.
So talk about the difference in play between South Side and West Side once you then got on the West Side.
I feel like the game that I developed, I was a West Side player anyway.
Okay. Oh, now where's Pops from? South Side, West Side?
Yep, South Side.
South Side. Okay. So explain that when you say that you was taught the game or raised like a West Side player. Explain what that meant.
Just the dog, man. No fear. Like out west, like it's straight grind. Like out west, like I feel like out south we got more of the
Finesse.
more attention. A lot of people pay attention more to the South Side and how we operate, but not knowing like out west is serious, like for real. Like the Red West, when I came into that platform, it was the same as Simeon. Like I'm like, it caught me by surprise, but being that I did something, I'm already used to, I got in where I fit in pretty much. It pretty much fitted my game very well. I wish I used to tell my pops all the time. I wish I would have went here from the get go.
But you know what? And that's easier said than done.
Yeah.
But the process, right? So we talked about it earlier, right? Joel Embiid made it sound good. It looked good on t-shirts. Trust the process. But the process that you had to go through, and you talked about, right? From what your dad taught you, what Coach Monroe taught you, what you learned along the way at Simeon and all, that was all preparation to get to help you become the person that you needed to be. So once you got there to Orr, you were already in position to go, right? So as yo Pop say, right? Brandon was the missing piece to a scrambled puzzle. Well, it goes back to, again, and I always talk about this. Coaches, good coaches, but especially on the next level, college coaches, they're looking. So my parents that's listening, coaches are looking to fit a piece into their puzzle. Sometimes the puzzle is all scrambled, right? Now, Jamal was playing point guard and played point guard in college and did very well. Y'all were 2 point guards, but really Jamal wasn't necessarily a point guard, right? And so to that missing puzzle, right? And then you got, if Pizzo gonna play, whatever's going, you got Taekwon, you got right here and there. So it was a whole lot of adversity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it goes back to what even me and you making sure that we can get this time scheduled. And what I said to you, I said, do you want to win or do you want to win? You know what I'm saying? And you being right, this is what I want to do, and I want to win. Like, and so I had a parent ask me last week, said, is it okay to transfer as a senior? Actually, I think it was the lunch and learn that you was on. And so you transferred as a senior. The answer I gave to her, I said, not if your senior is valuable,
Mm-hmm.
right? You were valuable for a few different reasons. And I'm gonna give you the honest to God reason from my book as a college coach.
Mm-hmm.
One, academically, it's a good look for the program,
Mm-hmm.
right? So to my parents, your student athlete, they need to have good grades because it looks good for the program that you have student athletes.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't get in trouble around the school.
You know.
I think you might have got wrote up one time, and I think I like leaned into you a little bit because I'm out,
Mm-hmm.
and it was something silly from some teacher that didn't have classroom management, and you came in my office and you was like, Bailey, I already know. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, okay, we don't need like you don't have this, so let's not, right? What value can your athlete bring to the environment that they're in? So not only did your academic, not only did your behavior, but your character, your integrity, and then your basketball skills, right? That was the
Mm-hmm.
like last thing,
Yeah.
right? So to my parents, where can your athlete add value to any environment in which they go in? On the court, off the court. So now you get to Orr, and you all set a standard, right? And I always say that there are certain firsts. Coach Lou has won 3. Coach Lou was literally 48 hours from winning 4. To
Mm-hmm.
where when COVID happened 3 years ago, they were in the locker room about to go out to defend that 4th title, to catch Coach Rob winning 4 straight. And they stopped the season, right? And Lou talks about it all the time, like they was 5 minutes from going out the locker room to warm up, and they canceled the season.
Mm-hmm.
But before all of that glamour and glitz, y'all started it. And to the point, and maybe your pops will laugh at this too or not, man, but listen, man, I told Lou, I said, Lou, when I left that day after the first loss, I said, Lou, I said, don't you put on no damn suit tomorrow. Don't put on no suit tomorrow, and don't sit down, because that ain't you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't
For
saying y'all
sure.
coaching the suit all year,
For
you
sure.
know. and with his energy,
Mm-hmm.
and y'all kind of played off that energy, right?
Mm-hmm. I definitely did.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But when it's all said and done, you can always go back and you always know that you and that team were the team that started to make that school even feel like it was possible to be a state contender. You know what I'm saying? And to the point to where y'all did it, and then they went back the following year,
Mm-hmm.
and then they had a hiatus, and then they went off, right? Talk to me about the love of the game. And I'm gonna ask this question because during y'all run, so I used to have coaches call me, and they right because I got a relationship with them. They right, and they would call me, Carvel. Listen, man, you're a college coach, and they would say, man, answer me this question: does Lewis Adams Jr. is he a bad teammate? Why is he always getting technical fouls? Why is he always doing this and that? And here's what I used to tell every college coach they called me about Lil Lou, and you've been saying it all day today. I said, what people don't understand about Lou, I said he don't have a bad attitude. I said, but he can't comprehend why people can't get the same effort as he do.
Mm-hmm.
I said, because he loves the game so much, he cannot comprehend if I'm sprinting down there, why can't you do it?
Mm-hmm.
And his communication may not come off to everybody the best way, the same way. So what you said earlier was until your pops pulled you to the side and say, hey, you can't talk to everybody the same way.
Yeah.
But you said your passion, your love for the game, you you kind of like Lil Lou, you just couldn't understand. Why don't
Mm-hmm.
you see it like I see it? You know what I'm saying? So can you talk about that?
When it came to Lulu, being that me and J Rock was pretty much like the poised ones, the ones
Mm-hmm.
that actually been there and done that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we was the ones we knew we was the ones that was gonna get everybody, you know, situated and we really felt like we was the ones that was gonna uh basically do our job as the guards.
Yeah.
But Lulu, yeah, he definitely came off like that. But being that either it was me or it was J Rock, we'll pull him to the side. Relax, bro. Calm down. Relax. Cause you know me, we understand, bro.
Yeah.
We understand. But we had to get him to understand the ultimate goal.
Exactly. Yeah.
He like it. Lulu, people may not know, but he was definitely a key piece on that team.
Oh
Like
yeah.
that was our bucket getter for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That like
Mm-hmm.
he for sure was gonna score that ball for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to make sure he understand like you can't do that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you can't do that. What we trying to do, and for us to win, we need you to be in the game. We can't win
Exactly.
if you're not in the game.
Right.
So yeah, it was pretty much something that he definitely had to learn. He got better at it for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he seen like how dangerous we was. So he seen like we getting these dubs like we said, like we told him we was gonna do. So pretty he definitely ended up buying into to the ultimate goal for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So after graduation, um, you have some opportunities. Talk to us about the road to college, and you had a couple stops, um, and I felt like you did it the right way. But talk to us about now, like talk to a high school senior, um, about college, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
you weren't necessarily, for as valuable as you were, and people don't really like it was coaches at practice, like often,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Um, and your journey was a little bit different from everybody else's journey, but you got a scholarship. You
Mm-hmm.
did go again, hide and seek.
Mm-hmm.
Once you caught up to him, and once the coach understood your value, but talk to us about going to the next level. What was different?
Uh, I just feel like when it comes to picking your college, definitely take the visits so you can see yourself if that's the perfect fit for you.
Yeah.
Um, you may have some coaches that may feed you a story, pretty
Mhm.
much. You have some that does do that, feed you a story and tell you like make it seem like this is the place you're supposed to be. But
Some are used car salesmen. Let's keep it real. Some
yeah,
are.
yeah,
Some
for
are.
sure.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I just feel like you know who you are, you know what type of game you have. So
Mm-hmm.
once you do go on the visits and you get that opportunity to play with the team and meet the other players, you should know like, okay, this may be the fit for me. Because
Mm-hmm.
once you get there, it's up to you to maintain that.
Mm.
You
Yep.
still have to go put in that work. It's not like no, all right, I'm here now, so I'm able to chill and relax. No, mm-mm.
Yep.
You have to definitely because it's like you starting over. They know of you. They know you got here, yeah, but you still got to put in work. So once you get to where you're trying to go and you actually perform, that's when
Mhm.
it skyrockets. That's when they see like, okay, bet this we did our job. We got the person we needed. So yeah. When it came to picking my school, that was pretty much something that I definitely keyed in on. I never
Mhm.
really I listened to the coach and I listened to the message and they game plan that they had for me. But every visit I went to, as we was touring the school, I used to stay asking the coaches, when we hooping, man.
Mhm.
When we hooping, when we gonna get the hoop so I can meet the team and plan? Cause I know me as a guard, I know what type of players that I want to be around. So I end up Kennedy King. Kennedy
Yep.
King. I got introduced to Kennedy King College. Uh, being that I didn't pass the ACT, so I was limited to certain things. But I didn't get down on myself. I didn't. I took it for what it was. I took it
Mhm.
for what it was. I know I definitely had colleges D1 offers. I definitely had that, but in
Mhm.
order to get there, you had to pass the ACT. So
Mhm.
being that I didn't do that, I stayed focused. I didn't get down on myself or anything because I knew my talent. I knew it was a school that would love for me to play for them. So I know they
Yep.
would do anything they can to get me. So once I locked in with Kennedy King and I scrimmaged with the coach, I was actually supposed to go to Malcolm X. A lot of people don't know that, but it's a coach, Edmund Pryor. He was
Mhm.
the coach. He was the recruiter at Malcolm X, and me and him, that was like my mentor. He was the one that I worked out with. You feel me? Pretty much all that. So he wanted me to go to Malcolm X, but I scrimmaged with Malcolm X team and toured. I played with they players, and then I went to go and I played with Kennedy King players. I felt like the Kennedy King team was way better fit for me. So that was definitely the way I
Hey,
went.
and at that time, right? At that time, I I can appreciate you not going to Malcolm X. Just because I think at that time I was back in South Suburban, but I had just left Malcolm X, but kind of understanding
Hmm.
the reason that I left, some of the underlying, some of the, again, going back to the used car salesman, some of the things that the administration was attempting to do, which ways in which they were going that wasn't beneficial to the athletes.
Hmm.
But to the people that don't understand, so Brandon is from Chicago, right? South Side. Kennedy King College is a junior college,
Hmm.
community college on the south side of Chicago. Very rich basketball history. But you have a lot of players and a lot of parents that say, I need to get my kid out of Chicago because of the violence.
Hmm.
As a coach, right, being a head coach at Truman College, that's on the north side of Chicago, as well as Malcolm X on the west side of Chicago, all city colleges. I was able to debunk that myth because I'm like, okay, well, you've been in Chicago for 12 years, right? Like you didn't finish high school. What's 2 more years? And it's like you just have to be aware of your surroundings and your environment. And my thing was, I always wanted to keep my athletes busy to where they was ready to go home and go to sleep. Like they didn't want to go hang out. And if they hung out, they hung out with each other. But you stayed around the neighborhood. Talk to me about how staying around the neighborhood blessed your life, right? Because again, there's people that's fighting to get out the hood,
Hmm.
even though they have an opportunity to stay in their hometown and get those reps, right?
Hmm.
You got 60 games. And here's what I tell people about junior college all the time. Yeah, you can go somewhere, and for your first 2 years, your athlete may not play. You were
Hmm.
able to get
For sure.
60 college games of experience under your belt.
Hmm.
So talk to us about the benefit of staying home. Obviously, you got your parents. You can go to the
Hmm.
crib, get a good home
Hmm.
cooked meal or whatever. But what's some of the benefits? Because a lot of people run away and they be like, I don't want to be here.
Hmm.
But sometimes that may be the best place for you.
Um, so I've never been the type. I mean, so my parents they were strict on me, as far as growing up. So as far as like partying and kicking it and hanging, I wasn't able to do, being that they seen where I was heading. So they kind of like protected me to where it was something that I got used to. I made sure as far as school, that was something. Like I said, I never had problems with school, with grades or anything. So that was something I had to, stay on. Especially I knew this was college, so college I'm more freely. I don't have. Yeah, I was home, but my pops he wasn't on me as much as he was when I was as a kid. So
Right.
right, so I was more freely. So I definitely had to get in my head and I'm home in Chicago too as well. So I definitely had to buy in and make sure I don't get off track,
Yes.
especially due to the fact that I didn't just pass this ACT, and I know if I would have, I would have been at a different platform. So I knew, like, as far as me going here, don't take advantage of it.
It was
Pretty much,
business.
yeah. Don't just take care of my business because I don't want to be in the same position when I do, because I know it's a 2 year. So I know I want to be able to go to the right school after I leave here. So I made sure
And
once
and boy, oh boy, was it a good fit. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I
and
loved it.
I
I
mean,
loved it.
Coach, E and Robin, I mean, great,
Yeah.
and they're players, coaches too. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Those are my guys, man. We had lots and lots of battles, but your dad just said something right important. And I was thinking the same thing because I knew what type of student you were, right? I know
Yeah.
what type of grades you got. But as your
Yeah.
dad said, right, like you didn't test well. So practice early, right? Practice early
Mhm.
taking those practice tests, right? You can go onto the ACT website, SAT website, and take those practice tests. Some people
Mhm.
just have testing anxiety. The same way some
Mhm.
people go to the doctor office and their blood pressure shoots up because they're, it's called white coat syndrome. Some people
Mhm.
have an issue testing. My daughter is the same way. She get great grades, but testing is just a little anxiety. But when you practice, when you get those reps in, it makes it that much better. And now, um, hell, I almost need to bring Pops on the line. Yeah,
Man.
but going into your point about you knew you had other offers and you really weren't supposed to be there, but you made the most out of your opportunity. And so speak on this, right? Because Dad said, right, you had a full raffle from Florida Atlantic. Isaiah Thomas at the time was the coach, Fisk University in Nashville, you know. So talk to us about missing what it felt like with the perception that you missed the opportunity. Because you really didn't miss an opportunity,
Mhm.
right? Because you had an
Mhm.
opportunity. It just
Mhm.
wasn't the opportunity that you might have thought that you could get. But how bad did you let that linger? Or was you like, this is where I'm planted and I'm about
Mhm.
to just take off?
I mean, I was definitely hurt, being that I couldn't get that done because I knew, like I said, it got to a point where I was getting reached out to by a lot. Like, I was being that I was producing, and I got the name that I had, I definitely was reaching. And when he got off the phone with the coach, he called me, and I was playing AU. It was a tournament at at the Attack Center. It's called Quest now.
Yep,
It was an
yep,
AU tournament up there.
yep.
At this time, I was playing with the Chicago Demons, but I was
Vince Carter
killing.
now?
I was killing. Shout out to Coach Vince Carter. That's my
Vince
boy.
Carter, yep.
Yeah, but my pops called me like, man, guess what I just got off the phone with? Who? He
Zeke.
Isaiah Thomas on. Who? I'm thinking he playing at this time. I'm thinking he playing. He Isaiah Thomas. He said, "You must be up there going crazy." I say, "Pops, I'm getting busy." I say, "I'm putting in work up here, And then, like, With Chicago Demons, it was me, but I also had other underrated players.
Yeah.
So this team, Chicago Demons, we was pretty much dogs. We weren't playing for no name or nothing. We just knew if we won, like I said, if we won, we'd stay relevant. Being that I was a guard, I was the more experienced one, and the more that been on those certain levels, I installed them. I'm like,
Hmm.
let's get it, bro. Like these teams, they may hire these top players or whatever, but we like that too now. Y'all may not get that platform, but this the platform, bro. You feel me? And with Coach Vince Carter, he's so connected, so he made sure we got into those specific tournaments so we can show what type of talent that we had. So yeah, for sure. I definitely appreciate them for that as well because um just knowing I'm getting reached out and talking to these coaches and they interested and wanting me there, it was definitely a blessing. But I don't know. I don't know, man. It was crazy at the moment, but I knew um, what I was capable of, so I couldn't really pretty much dwell on it.
Hmm.
It was really
Hmm.
like a lesson learned. Me and my pops, I'm pretty sure I know we definitely had a conversation about it. So it was definitely something I overcame because I knew I couldn't really dwell on it. So I know I had to get myself together. I know I'm pretty sure I know I cried though. I know I definitely shed some tears, being that I didn't, be able to reach that. But I knew that wasn't the end of it.
Yeah, yeah,
I knew
yeah,
it
yeah.
wasn't the end of it. That was just really like all right, let's make sure let's keep it going. Don't let that, you feel me, tarnish you. You feel me? Let's keep it going because you got a gift. A lot of
Exactly.
people want you as they guard. So I just
And
stayed the course.
and I think that's a great comment there, right? You stayed the course.
Hmm.
So many, right, and you dealt with adversity. So many athletes now, you know, and I have a, I clown the AAU system a whole lot every chance I get because there's no sense of accountability anymore, right? There's no
Yeah.
responsibility, right? They're not teaching the right things. It's
Hmm.
just play, 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 and not even
Hmm.
teaching them. Going back to introducing, teaching, and then coaching.
Hmm.
It's not just about who's the most athletic. That's only going to
Hmm.
take you so far,
So far.
you know. Um, but everything happens for a reason, right? Now, Coach Bailey talking to Brandon, and we just letting everybody in on it. Conversation that you and I have had over, 10 years or so. It's all about perspective, B, because had it went a different way, you're not sitting in the seat that you're sitting in now, literally, not even figuratively, literally, because you had to go through that process,
Hmm.
right? God knows where He has us, where we're gonna be in 5 years. We don't know.
Hmm.
It would have been dope playing for Zeke. Would have been dope. Even going down the fifth would have been dope.
Hmm.
But you wind up at another HBCU. So when I say literally, so you're currently in Memphis, correct? Right,
Yes.
right, right. You wouldn't be sitting in that seat in Memphis had you not went to Kennedy
Kenny
King.
King.
Well, or Kennedy King, or Simeon, or Beasley, Simeon, Kennedy King, or Beasley, Simeon, or
Or
Kennedy
Kenny
King,
King.
and then Lemoyne on, right?
Hmm.
And so the next step after junior college, walk us through the transition of now being able to go to a 4-year school. Like, what did that look like? For you personally, like, what was that process like? Was it an easy transition? Like, was it early in May or was it late in August? Like, help us out a little bit. How did
Okay,
that
so
Lemoyne come up?
okay, so my journey when I came to Memphis definitely didn't go as planned. Um, When I came out here, I was ruled ineligible. I was short 5 credits, being that I was transferring from a junior college, so I was
Yep.
short 5 credits. Um, to where I was ruled ineligible. He gave me an option to either go back and take a summer class, or I can stay and just redshirt and make sure I keep my grades up to where I'm able to play next year. So the thing that I struggled with when I got down there, being that I'm far from home, it was something new, was being independent. Um, that's something that I definitely, life lesson, because just that transition to having that support, and just being able to do and get whatever I need to get done by just asking with my people and stuff like that. It was cool to going out there to transition, being independent to where I was by myself. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it was definitely a struggle. To where like I started pretty much everything went downhill. That following year, I was on academic probation because I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. Um, to where like it just got to a point. Um, I sat myself down, and just was thinking, just thinking like the person that I really am, and then to where I'm at now. I knew that wasn't me. So I definitely had to, brainstorm and sit myself down to get my thoughts together to understand like I need to do better, because when I got out there and I started doing the thing I was doing, the people on campus from to the coach, they seen, you know, a person that wasn't me. So they was looking at me a certain way. That a lot of people was moving with me a certain way. So this was the end of my sophomore year. I took the going into my junior year. I took that junior year spring semester, that fall semester off. I came back home to Chicago because I just was telling everybody like I need to recuperate. I need to
Mhm.
figure out what I need to do.
A
I
reset.
wasn't. Yeah. So at that standpoint, I wasn't a student athlete no more. I was a regular student. So
Student.
I just put in my mind, like my partner always did, come up with a plan B, just in case. He used to tell me like use basketball to get you through school. So
Mm-hmm.
I basically that point came around to where basketball wasn't there. I wasn't playing, so I had to
Yep.
come up with a game plan to where I'm able to still get through school, but get things done. So I took that fall semester off. My junior year, came back in the spring. When I came back in the spring, everybody was amazed. They didn't think I was gonna do it.
You
But
still gonna come back?
when I came back just with a whole different demeanor. A whole different mindset. I had something to prove, not to people, but to myself. You
Yep.
know, um, like I said, I was never the person to start something and then finish it. So I just knew for myself it was something I had to finish. Like I didn't want
Mm-hmm.
to, start college and then finish it, because I know I was gonna get something out of it. Being that I was the first out of my siblings to complete
Yep.
college, that was one big accomplishment that I definitely wanted to get done. So, like I said, my junior year, when I came back in the spring, my major was business management. I gained as much knowledge as I can. I found mentors that was in the business field to lock in. Like I said, I always been a sponge. So
Sponge and a student. Yep.
and I just bought in and disciplined myself to learn as much as I can. And while doing that, I came up with the idea of being an entrepreneur. Being
Mm.
with the knowledge that I'm learning and the mentors that I have, uh, yeah, they introduced me into being an entrepreneur, which I love. So being that I became an entrepreneur, that's when I started my clothing line. I knew I was very big and passionate about fashion, so
Yep.
I felt like that was definitely a field that I could perfect. So
Mm-hmm.
I just did everything I could do that would help me in that aspect. So once I perfected and got all the knowledge that I need as far as starting my brand and all that, it was all on. It was pretty much up from there. So once I started doing that, my school they seen me for who I really am. So once I started putting on them suits and I'm talking because at this point my the way I speak is fluent now. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm coming different though to where what they used to see. So the feedback was crazy. A lot of people, I met a lot of people. Being that I had my business and stuff going on, I was put in different, you know, a lot of big programs to help me expand with that. I had photo shoots on my dorms, pretty
mm,
much, you know, just networking. You know, I'm doing my thing. I'm pretty much prospering. You know, not in competition with nobody, but staying my course. You know,
yeah.
just trying to get, you know, what I wanted to get done.
So I'm
I
gonna
ain't,
pause you right there, B, because
yeah.
you saying a whole lot, and I don't want it to go
Hmm.
over people's head as we get ready to close this down. But
Yeah.
so first and foremost, and I want to go back to Pops. So he was saying you had too much freedom, right? And so like it's a quote that says like a idle's mind is the devil's playground, right? And just going off to school, you don't have nobody telling you what time you got to be in the house or whatever. It's a lot of freedom,
Hmm.
and where we think that we're mature, but we also have to have a certain level of discipline,
Discipline.
right? That's what it comes down to. And so, Pop said you came home, and basically you got,
They was on me.
right, the reset, the discipline. We ain't
Mhm.
got you to come back here. Um, you were able to deal with adversity, right? Going back to that, it probably was a little embarrassing because you said you went as a student athlete. Now you came back as just a student,
Mhm.
right? And so now you got to do some soul searching. You got to figure out. But again, you had the tools from your pops, your mom, coaches along the way. They helped you put different tools in your toolbox.
Mhm.
You just had to be aware that the toolbox is in your car.
Mhm.
You had everything that you needed to be successful.
Mhm.
What I'm hearing is that you just needed to be aware of what was already inside of you.
Mhm.
Them same things that you did on the court. Now we don't have that little orange ball
Mhm.
to be that vessel,
Mhm.
right? So we have to now lean back on knowing your role. 9 years old, right?
Mhm.
You and Doss, you had to understand what your role is. Your
Mhm.
role is you being you, right?
Mhm.
Our superpower is us being us. You were attempting to be somebody. You were attempting to be somebody other than Brandon Clemons. But you had to go back within to find out exactly who you were. Again, coming to OR, we know the athlete, we know the student, we know the character, the integrity, right, and how he plays. We know him. Oftentimes, we have to find ourselves because you said one thing that you said your pops told you at a young age. When you make it, don't get comfortable,
Mhm.
right? Now, it wasn't necessarily your fault that you was 5 credits short, right? But these are things
Mhm.
that, again, we got to make sure that we're on
Oh,
our things, right?
most definitely.
And now, and so to my parents, right? The NCAA clearinghouse, the NAIA clearinghouse, you want to go get registered for it so that you know these things beforehand so that it don't take the turn that it took. But even with all that said and done, those same strategies, those same tools that you use to be a great point guard, you've now used them to be a great businessman because you got to still have that same creativity. You got to still have that same leadership. You have to still have that same drive
Mm-hmm.
for what you're doing. And so now, before we get out of here, B, talk to us a little bit about the brand. What's the name of it? Where can we find it? What's the purpose?
So the name of it, Seven Gods. Um, so I had a mentor on campus when I was in my transition standpoint. And he was helping me with my brand. He seen like I was trying to actually put it together. And
Okay.
the first thing he asked me was what was the meaning of it. And every time somebody asked me, I used to tell them like it's a representation of me. I didn't really
Mm,
have an actual meaning. I just used to just off the rip just say it's a representation of me.
yeah.
But he basically just helped me, and we came up with the meaning of it to inspire. Because I basically told him my journey and to
Okay.
where I was now. So the meaning that I came up with was to inspire those who've been through many challenges but still maintain to become great, which is a general statement not just myself can relate to, but many can relate to.
Say
Um,
that one more time for the audience, B.
the meaning of Seven Gods is to inspire those who've been through many challenges but still maintain to become great.
Mm,
Once I came up with that meaning, I fell in love with it because I can pretty much just tell you my journey, and
yeah.
it's self-explanatory why it's the meaning of the brand.
Yeah.
So like I said, as an entrepreneur, I did everything I can. Got it. My paperwork made behind it to where it became official and legit. Um, I'm just very passionate about it. Like I said, I'm pushing this brand to where I'm trying to get it as high as that I can get it. Of course, I want to branch off and do other opportunities, but being that I'm so passionate about fashion, that's something that I'm pushing as of now. But you can definitely tune in with me. I can speak more about the brand and my objectives and what I'm trying to do. But right now, it's a clothing line. I have a website, Seven Gods Apparel, 7GODZAPPARAL. I spelled it different,
Spell it
to
again, B. Spell it again.
Seven Gods, 7GODZAPPARAL.com. I
A
felt like
P
me
P A P P A
A
R
R
A L
A L. Yeah, I spelled it different, just to, eye catching.
.com.
Something people can remember that it ain't spelled the right way, it's spelled the wrong way.
7guysapparel.com.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right.
I pretty much designed everything on there. Everything I created on my own. I do customize if anybody wants something in specific. I know people want their apparel a certain way, so I definitely tune in with the customers to see specifically what they want, and I get it done. Um,
Absolutely. Yeah. No, the customer drives business, man.
yeah.
So when I first saw it, well, one, I was just proud, right? I'm like, okay, cool. Like I'm definitely proud. Um, Me understanding, right? Like seven is the number of completion.
Mhm.
And so I was looking at that and hearing you give the statement about what the clothing brand represents. Um, the name, right, with just
Mhm.
God, like we are,
Mhm.
like we are powerful. Yeah,
Most definitely.
we are made in the image and the likeness of, right? And so if we see ourselves, so I have like some personal coaches too, and they're really heavy on it. Like if we can just see ourselves as God sees us, then we
Mhm.
can be unstoppable, right? So your brand, just understanding the name of it, that if we embrace our genius as gods, and depending on however they may want to flip the number, but that number to me just means completion,
Mhm.
and so we're always striving to be a complete and a whole individual.
Mhm.
Um, mentally, physically, spiritually, economically, socially, all of those things. So my take of it before you mentioned it was kind of a representation of those people that's striving to be the best version of themselves,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so hearing you speak on it, it goes hand in hand with what I thought
Most
just
definitely.
looking at the name. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And it speaks to your journey. Again, the name of this episode is Hide and Seek
Mm-hmm.
because once you're already out there. It's just what can we do to make people realize um, the value that we have and the greatness that's inside of us. But before we can get other people to realize it, we kind of gotta realize it first.
Most definitely.
Um, and I think that you've done that on so many levels. I'm pretty sure your pops have probably heard it, but you're a joy to be around, right? You're a joy to talk to. I would have never known, that you had conversational anxiety, especially as a basketball player. You just start out, but you've always been able to hold a conversation, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe that's just when you're around genuine people,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a little bit easier too. But you've always been a joy to be around. Um, you've always been somebody that people like talking to
Mm-hmm.
because one of the last nuggets to my parents listening, to my coaches listening, one thing that people hate is for a person that always say, I know, and I
Mm-hmm.
know it.
Mm-hmm.
That means that you're not coachable and you think you know everything. Now you may know a
Everything.
lot, but you may not know everything. However, you could just sit back and learn. And when you can ask questions, Brandon talked, right? We've been on for an hour and 40 minutes. He's been talking about asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
Every step of the journey, he's had to ask a different question. Don't be afraid to ask the difficult questions, to have the difficult conversations, because it will benefit you in the end. And so, B, I just want to say how proud I am of you. Unfortunately, we connected back after a couple years, once, Kizo got murdered, God rest his soul. But,
I'm
again,
well.
everything happens for a reason, um, and I heard about it on somebody's page I'm not even friends with. And I was just looking at the comments and I saw your comment. I'm like, damn, where Brandon been? You
Mm-hmm.
know, we had a conversation when you were short them credits, you
Mm-hmm.
know, um, and I know the disdain, the hurt, kind of at that time, or the disappointment of
Mm-hmm.
not being able to play, whoever, right? I always keep in contact with all those people that I've built and grew relationships with. And so I know that it was a little difficult, some second guessing, maybe I should have did this, did that. But you said you hung in there. That's the trait of a champion.
Never quit, man.
And as we close, and this is what my business teachers had to tell me. A lot of people can say they're business owners, but an entrepreneur, a lot of people just throw that word around.
Mm-hmm.
An entrepreneur, in short, is someone who's able to figure it out,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like an entrepreneur, in short, is someone that can figure it out. That's different from a business owner, right? Because you can
Mm-hmm.
be handed a business and you can just run it.
Mm-hmm.
But as an entrepreneur, right? Good point guards are entrepreneurs in their own right because they figure it out and they make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Take something and they create what they have. So being a business owner myself, I want to give you some closing um, pieces of advice. One, you already said, right? Customers drive your business. So you got to listen to your customers. You got to find out what they want and then keep that in line with your vision.
Mm-hmm.
Two, What people say about you is none of your business,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, what people put on us is nothing but an indication of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
What people say about you or your brand is none of your business, be it good, bad, or indifferent. Your job is to continue adding value where value isn't there. Lastly, put a story behind your brand, right?
Okay.
Put a story behind your brand because if it's Sean John, if it's Levi's, if it's I don't even know what the latest clothes are. Tell you what I wear, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, but like I don't know what but people buy stories,
Okay.
so you have to improve your storytelling, right? Like you may come up with a shirt based on something that might have took place in your life, whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
That right, it still got the brand name on it, but whatever the image is, it's a story behind it,
Yeah.
right? Like the shirt you got on now, right? And the logo, whatever, but it's a story behind the crown.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? It's a
Mm-hmm.
story behind why the name is underlined. If it's
Mm-hmm.
underlined, that means your highlight, right? So
Mm-hmm.
so people are attracted to the story because they want to be part of it.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Right. Same way people go to movies, they want to be part of Wakanda.
Kinda.
You know what I'm saying? Like because of the story.
Mm-hmm.
And so your story is the life that you've been living up to today, right?
Yes, sir.
And because it's your life story, it all applies to your brand.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But in that talking to people, if it's customers, if it's investors, whoever it may be, don't be afraid to share that story because when somebody put this shirt on, right? So
Mm-hmm.
so I have a shirt, right? So this shirt, and I ain't wore this shirt in a while, right? But it says fatherhood, and it
Mm-hmm.
has a picture of Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X with their kids, right? I bought this shirt because I'm a father. I have 3 kids,
Mm-hmm.
but I understand the importance of these 2 individuals on my life.
Mm-hmm.
One, I coached at Malcolm X, the only college in the country named Malcolm X, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a I'm a big Muhammad Ali fan, right? He was the greatest. People talk about right Jordan, LeBron, the GOAT, Cassius Clay,
Mm-hmm.
Muhammad Ali. But they were fathers at the end of the day. Everybody knew them, but they were fathers. So it goes back to your comment. Don't get don't get too big headed or don't forget where you came from, right? So when I put this shirt on, I put it on intentionally today because it was my kid's last day of school.
Okay.
And I got an 8th grade, I got a kindergarten, right? They'll never be in school with each other again, right? And this was their last day of the only year they went to school together. So I wanted to go pick them up today with this shirt on because I feel like I'm just as influential as these 2 individuals, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to wear it when I went to go pick my kids up. So just share your story because it's gonna be athletes that's gonna wear that, but the athletic part of branding.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be kids that got sent home from school. It's gonna wear that because of the person brand. But then it's gonna be young aspiring business owners that's gonna wear it because of the business owner brand. Does that make sense, B?
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So like share that story
I got you.
all the time. You know what I'm saying? All the time. Hell, if I was you, I would probably put one in the mail and send to John Morant. Like, dude, you need to start looking at yourself a little different. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
man.
I mean, really, like
I agree with
you know what I'm saying? Like you need to be, doing that. Rob, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, you have a great Great young man. Great young man. Is that is it Nakia or are those L's or I's, B?
That's my
Those,
mama.
oh, that's Mama. Oh, hey, Mama. How you doing, Mom? Hey, y'all have a great son. Listen, if nothing else, and this is season 6 of this show, episode 1, and I've had athletes come on. This is the first interview where the parents have been in the comments like crazy, all right? Like crazy. So hey, it just goes to show you the level of support that you have and how proud people are of you. And as I told you earlier, right? Like, you and I sensed the you was getting agitated. From a
Yeah.
business standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
everything ain't gonna go according to plan.
Most
You
definitely.
just want to make sure that you're able, right? What your daddy told you.
Mm-hmm.
Do your job, I'm gonna do mine. Right? He said, you do yours, I'm gonna do mine. I can get on the phone talk to you. You got to be out there doing what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, don't make me look stupid, right?
Yeah.
So, like, understand, man, that keep doing the job in which you know that God called you to do and be unapologetic about it. I know you're a humble dude. I know you're a humble dude, but don't be unapologetic about how your brand and your story is going to change the world.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? Because I
Yeah.
know that this interview is going to save somebody's life, and
Mm-hmm.
this interview is going to help some parent and some athlete and some coach understand what blind spots to look out for, right? As a coach, my job is to help you see the blind spots that you don't see on the court. And I think that's what I did with you
Mm-hmm.
when we used to go in that gym. I be this is what I see. This is what you ain't seeing. Let's try to change it, right? I never
Most
forget.
definitely.
I never forget. I think I talked about it last time. But we spent 20 minutes working on what I said, B, I got one move to show you because I've been watching, and you get in the hole, but then, right, talk about them unforced turnovers. You get in the hole,
Mm-hmm.
and now you may force it. I
Mm-hmm.
said, instead of going this way, we're gonna take the ball through the backside of the leg, right into your shot pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And we was playing, and I never forget because I got a ticket coming back that damn night. And I called Lou, or no, Lou called me when y'all won the I think the regional or sectional. Lou called me, he was like, Bailey, we're on the bus, man. He was like, appreciate you coming out. I'm like, Lou, I got a ticket, man. I'm stopped by the police right now. Way out. It was on man, I don't know who y'all played, but y'all played a white school. We was way out, y'all senior year, but it was a close game, and you got and drove on the guard and got right a foot inside the free throw line, and you dropped it with your right hand through your legs reverse. It came up to your left hand, and you hit that mid range jumper, and it was it. And y'all went on a run from there, and I'm like, spun.
Yes,
We
sir.
spent 20 minutes working on that, like that day, the day of that game, right? So the blind spots. But listen, um, keep doing what you're doing, man. All right. Don't worry about the naysayers. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm proud of you. Um, any last comments for our young athletes out here? Because the game is bad now. The game is terrible. A lot of people not learning. It's not being taught. And they're definitely not teaching life. But what would be your advice to any young hooper out here?
Um, Coming from me, uh, study the game.
Mm,
Um, Study the game for sure. Definitely study the game. Be a sponge. Uh, wanna learn.
mm,
Wanna be versatile as far as your skills.
yep.
Wanna be able to do pretty much everything, not just offense but defense as well. Because I'm very big on defense, so definitely, just perfect. Like I said, perfect your craft. This generation is different from how I was, coming up. So the physicality is not the same. So I mean, as far as that, you just have to um, adjust with how they move apart as far as the game now with that. But with me still, I definitely feel like you should be aggressive with everything you do. Just stay aggressive because that plays a role in playing the game of basketball as well, and it separates you from others. Um,
Separation. Yep.
yeah, pretty much that's it, and just stay the course, man. You put that work in, that result gonna definitely show.
Stay the course. Stay the course, man. I love it. B, before I get you out of here, man, I'm gonna put you on the hot seat. I always do it. Nothing controversial. I just want to know the first thing to come to your mind.
Yeah.
So I got 3 questions for you, man.
Okay.
Um, best player you ever played against?
Mm, Tyler Eulis.
Mm. Okay. Okay. Favorite player of all time. Now I know
Derrick
you talking
Rose.
about some bad. Oh, okay. In the door.
Derrick Rose. Don't play with that man.
Favorite player of all time. All right.
Don't play with that man.
Best basketball moment.
Um, my favorite moment. Um,
Throughout your whole life. Best basketball moment.
I hit a game winner. No, not a game winner, but I hit a buzzer beater to send us to overtime, and we ended up winning the game. This is when I was at Beasley. My eighth grade year, we played in the tournament at Whitney Young. We ended up playing Cone. This is when they
Mm-hmm.
had. This is when they had Speedy, Mark, Mark, Marquise, and this other guy John. But this was our rival team. They was winning. They got sent to the free throw line to where we had to foul.
Yeah.
He missed one. I just looked at my pops when he did. My pops told me, "Get it and go. If you get it, go." So I get on the line. He made the first one, missed the second one. I got it. Being that I'm faster than everybody, I threw it from the other side of the court,
Mm.
sent it to overtime. We end up winning. So that was definitely something I still speak on to this day.
So without that shot, y'all don't
We
break
wouldn't
bread.
we wouldn't be 39-0. We wouldn't beat Derrick Rose record at Beasley. We wouldn't have done it.
Hey, do you see how everything happens for a reason, man?
Yes, for
You know what I'm
sure.
saying?
Yes, sir.
Everything happens for a reason. B, I appreciate you, man. I got to get out of here and go
Okay.
do some more stuff. Hey, listen. So I would be remiss to say, so we have our summer camps starting June 6th. We got our skills camp 1. We have a father and son, father and daughter basketball camp on Juneteenth. So we celebrating Juneteenth, which is a national holiday, and we celebrating our fathers, which Juneteenth is the day after Father's Day, right? We want to see the dads come out with their kids. We're gonna celebrate dads, especially black dads. We get a bad rap. We're gonna celebrate black dads, and we're gonna talk to our athletes to help keep them on the right path too. And so we have our skills camp, we have our Juneteenth father and son, father and daughter camp. We have a shooting camp at the end of June, and I think July 11th, our skills camp 2. And then in August, we have our back to school basketball boot camp. And this is kind of like the show, but where we
Hmm.
put athletes through full workouts,
Hmm.
high school and college style workouts, and we actually have different workshops that our athletes can go to talk with former coaches, former players, officials, so that parents and athletes together can be in one space and learn together so that we can help take this game of basketball back to where it used to be, and to really teach life while teaching the game of basketball. So you definitely want to, reach out about the camps. I'll drop the link in here because some is actually when I get off here, I got a call. Something's going on with my website. But again, guess what? We are always We won't let technology beat us. So, okay, yep. Hey, definitely, Rob. Bring your grandson. Definitely. This is the link. Yep, you to go and get registered. Again, I appreciate y'all being here. Right, so I'm Coach Carville Bailey, and I help high school guards build the tools that they need to become more recruitment ready. That means confidence, their IQ, their skill development, their exposure, and then ultimately getting them in position to be able to play on that next level. So B, again, I'm proud of you. I know I speak for Lou. I know I speak for Rob. I know I speak to my man Sean Monroe, who I've been knowing about 30 years too, right? So, we all proud of you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. And I always close the show like this. Everybody that's watching, please reach for the top because it's crowded as hell at the bottom. All right, Coach Carville Bailey, I appreciate y'all tapping in with me. I had theme music before Deion Sanders was talking about theme music, but we're going to leave out with my theme music. Hey, B, I'm going to hit you later. I appreciate you. Mom, Pops, appreciate y'all being on. Definitely share it. Share this with people that y'all know they can benefit from this. All right, 7godsapparel.com. Y'all go check it out. All right, 7godsapparel.com. Y'all make sure that y'all go check that out. All right, Coach Carville Bailey.
Yo, just so you understand it, this is Coach Carville Bailey's program with the spirit of Bob Hambry. This is Blessed to Ball, helping athletes, and we represent. Study your craft, your mentality leads to excellence. It's all about your mindset. We'll never stop addressing this, so be positive and not a pessimist. Confidence took James Harden higher. If you really want it, it ain't gonna be easy. It's gonna be hard as carbon fiber, but we got you. From counseling to workshops, we do it. You'll go farther with a scholarship. We'll help you get recruited. Yo, anyone can dribble and shoot, but it's the ones who study basketball internally that make it to Duke University. Knowledge goes around. The game is played from the neck up and not from the shoulders down. This is Blessed to Ball, helping you with obstacles. The athletes are the rocket. Blessed to Ball is the rocket fuel. If you hit a wall, we can help you slowly climb it. So keep a Mamba mentality like Kobe Bryant. Blessed to Ball. Cherish the opportunities that you have. Blessed to Ball. Use your mentality to master the craft. Blessed to Ball. Come join our team. It's a new day. Follow our steps and watch how much better you play. Blessed to Ball. Cherish the opportunities that you have. Blessed to Ball. Use your mentality to master the craft. Blessed to Ball. Come join our team. It's a new day. Follow our steps and watch how much better you play. Yo, Coach Carville Bailey. Hey, listen to your coach, man. He ain't no scrub off the street. That man got credentials, academic and street. Believe it. And my name is strategic.